Well, greetings for color fans and welcome to another Metal video. And today I'm going to show you all of the Bronze Age appearances of none other than the Jack of Hearts. So shout out to my buddy Scotty. I know he's a big fan of this character. And so I am shouting him out here. And I'll put his link below because he has been a great supporter of this community for a while now. And of my channel especially. So, Jack of Hearts. His first appearance was here in Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 22. Yes, this is a remastered copy, thus the top there is missing for 50 cents. I was not going to complain about that, right? So, anyway, Jack of Hearts, Jack Hart, was the son of an inventor of this fuel called the Zero fluid. And he got his powers by unfortunately falling inside of it. And his next appearance was in 24. And I think he wasn't in 23. And then in 26. And so there was a organization called the Corporation that unfortunately wanted to know about the formula for the Zero fluid. His father, wouldn't give it up because it's, again, it's supposedly the most powerful energy source or whatever. And so, he was killed by the Corporation. And then the next one here is in 29. And then 30. And then here in 31, again, he gets the armor to control his powers because they were just running wild. And then he goes out on a revenge, trying to avenge his death of his father. And I believe in this issue is where he catches up to most of those Corporation ne'er-do-wells and does away with them. So that is, I believe, the end of the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu portion of the Jack of Hearts. The next appearance is here in 1978. Hulk 213. Right at the end here, he just shows up and sees the aftermath of the Hulk doing away with the Quintronic Man there. And he just takes it upon himself to try to bring the Hulk in. And they have an epic battle throughout this issue. At the end, he thinks that the Hulk was killed, but he was not. But, again, he's now gone from revenge to trying to become more heroic, but he's not sure how to do it. So he as you can see here, he searches out Iron Man. And, of course, they have the requisite battle, before a misunderstanding. But ultimately, he asks Iron Man to take him on as sort of an apprentice. And Tony Stark agrees to that. So he was about a year. He appeared here in not that one, in Iron Man from 103 through 113. Here we have 104. This is part of the Midas saga with Madame Mask and Jasper Stillwell. Here you have the Wraith and the Guardsman as well. And again, there are issues here with Jack of Hearts sort of trying to understand the motivations and the way that Iron Man did things, but it was sometimes difficult for him to sort of get on board. Here, as you can see, he was turned to gold by Midas, as was most of the cast at that time. And there we have the Growing Man and Yellow Jacket. Again, he doesn't, sometimes he appears more sporadically while Iron Man is out doing missions, things like that, holding on the fort, sometimes just wondering what's going on. Other times he's more actively involved. Like here where they're actually, I believe they're in space at this point with the recorders there. No, I forgot what their race was called, the Argillians. And here they take on the Punisher, that would be Galactus's Punisher. And then I think his last appearance was here in 113. And then, he leaves, Iron Man's tutelage, again, not under the best circumstances as I recall. And then he appears here in Marvel 2-in-1, number 48. And again, he takes on the Thing, misunderstanding, you know how that goes. And he finally gets his first solo comic here in Marvel Premiere. And here, by the way, his father was pretty well-to-do because of a successful scientist. So he has, a mansion he lives in, and he has some butlers and things like that. So he's pretty well-to-do. He's Jack of Hearts. The power sets that he has is pretty powerful. He has a concussion blast. He can fly. He's fairly durable, especially because of that armor. He also has a razor-sharp mind due to that zero fluid stuff. And again, he's pretty fast, durable, the whole bit. Here he takes on this guy named Hemlock, again, because they wants the formula to the zero fluid. That's kind of like a theme going on here. And then he was one of the heroes that took the call to become a defender for a day. There he is on the cover over here. And this is just, there were 3 teams or 4 teams of defenders. There were just so many of them that showed up, so many heroes that showed up, and ultimately they started battling themselves and other villains. It was just chaos. But I think I showed all these during the Ms. Marvel all appearances as well, so you kind of know what's going on there. And then here he takes on Rom. Of course, there's the battle and the whole bit. By the way, most of these stories are his origin. He was created by Bill Mantlo. And Keith Giffen, I did a lot of the, I think all the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu stuff, and sporadically, I think the Marvel Premiere as well. He had a lot of hand in this. And we're getting toward the end of his appearances here. He was one of the heroes again in the Contest of Champions. I essentially, most every hero was there. But he's not on the covers, I don't believe, of any of these. But he was definitely in the story here, even if sometimes a panel or two. So I'm just showing this for completeness sake. It's just very brief. And kind of the same thing here, where he showed up for the sort of emancipation of the Hulk, where he was able to, Bruce Banner was able to control the Hulk's, body. His brain was in control. Of course, that was short-lived, but he did appear in these 2 issues. I don't think he's on the cover of either of those. And then here, his last appearance before his miniseries, in which we were introduced to Marcy Kane, which was I think it was, she had a relationship with her in college, but she was also somehow a friend of Peter Parker or something during his college years. So they, met there. And then Marcy Kane was later on here in the miniseries. She was trying to help him cure himself. Apparently the zero fluid is killing him in some manner, like deteriorating, or I think like he thinks his body is like somehow disintegrating or degrading in some way. And he finds out that Marcy Kane is actually an alien, a Contraxian, and that his mother was also that alien. Again, this might have been the retcon thing. I don't think this was the original plan, but and he's actually whisked away to Contraxia to help save their planet because he has all these great powers. And obviously there's some consternation there about him dying, and if it was cured. It's kind of like up in the air whether he was or he wasn't, but he did ultimately save their son and their world, and now he was half Contraxian. And this was from 1984, and that's it. That's the last Bronze Age appearance of Jack of Hearts. Later on, he does appear in Quasar and Silver Surfer, but that was in the 90s. So again, that's well into the Copper Age. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this little jaunt through the history and the appearances of Jack of Hearts. If you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments below. And if you have anything to add to this, if I've made any missteps or misspoken in some way, please do correct me. A lot of this I'm going from memory, and a lot of it I haven't read in a few decades, so I may have gotten a few things wrong there. So Scotty, this is for you, my friend. Hope you enjoy this. And for everybody else, be kind to each other, including Scotty. Be kind to each other, be blessed, and be back. Bye.